At a press briefing this morning, the Nairobi Provincial Commissioner Njoroge Ndirangu said the government has invested heavily in technology to ensure safety among all Kenyan citizens. He also urged the public to work closely with the government to maintain peace and security in Kenya. Provincial Commissioner Njoroge also noted with interest that this year's Mashujaa Day, which is the first one under the new constitution, will be unique with 120 heroes and heroines, including freedom fighters and other prominent persons from all counties across the country, parade during the national celebrations at the Nyayo National Stadium.
What is unique in this year, we will be having a parade of 120 heroes and heroines drawn from all the counties of this country.
President Mwai Kibaki has unveiled a statue of freedom fighter and a trader unionist Tom Mboya at the Tom Mboya Street today.
Huku Embu tulikuwa na kumbukumbu. Yule alibikwa risasi na akachomwa na moto.
Fond memories of unsung heroes who say they were at the center of the fight for the country's independence back in the 50s. The two, Joseph Mogo and Jacob Nyage, alias Field Marshal Kavote and Sukuma, say they remember clearly when Kenya attained self-governance, with Jomo Kenyatta becoming the country's first prime minister, asking all the Mau Mau freedom fighters from various forests to down their weapons with the promise that they would be given land and their children would be educated.
Akasema tutakuwa watoto wetu watasoma bure. Timiza ahadi hiyo. Serikali tutakwenda kufanywa matibabu kwa bure.
Though grateful that the government has recognized the association, the war veterans say that is not enough, as majority of those who devoted their lives to liberate the country live miserable lives.
Ni magumu kwa sababu hawa ndio watoto tulipewa na Mungu wakati tulitoka msituni. Na kuwekea hiyo masomo wanayo ilikuwa ngumu sana. Tulikuwa tukitoka usiku kwenda huku kutafuta kazi na kazi haionekani.
Lankama reporting for the news at 9.
Coming at a time the country has embarked on an all-out war against Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab, the second Mashujaa Day celebrations were seasoned with heightened security. But Kenyans from all walks of life, heroes, past, present and future, arrived at the Nyayo National Stadium, and even the boys and girls in uniform were ready for the day. The Fourth Estate members too, they sought the most vintage of positions to capture the moments how best they know. The chief guest's arrival beckons, everything and everyone takes position. The usual glamour and amour associated with the arrival of political leaders was missing as the Vice President, Ministers and Prime Minister made their way into the stadium, save for one who stole the show. It's Lands Minister James Orengo. And for some like Mheshimiwa Waitito, it was all acrimony as they sought their way in. Then the parade proceeds to position. So does the ceremonial state Land Rover awaiting the Commander-in-Chief. And what about this? Then eyes right and salute. And suddenly it's helter-skelter as the skies open up. Everybody for himself. Even we were not spared and we had to be creative to be safe at least. And after all is said and done, this is the image of no love lost even in the rains that deprived us of the usual sing and dance. Real patriotism, true heroism and the spirit of Mashujaa lives on. Doto Nyekundi for Channel 1 at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Kenyans turned out in large numbers to celebrate the second Mashujaa Day, save for the rains that briefly disrupted the ceremony. But they were not just here to honor the country's heroes and heroines only, but also for assurance that the country was safe even as the military takes on the Al-Shabaab, who have threatened reprisal attacks. And the president didn't mince his words in assuring Kenyans that the government would do all that it takes to protect the nation both externally and internally, sentiments that earned him praise from fellow leaders and Kenyans across borders.
Our men and women who are in uniform, who are out in Somalia, and our prayers are with them. We are very glad that the president came out very clearly on the issue. And the whole country, including Parliament, we're fully behind him as our commander-in-chief.
The decision as a commander-in-chief, the decision he has done is the best decision.
Whatever the reprisals, we have to be firm.
I think he really has given us assurance and confidence that our defense forces are doing very well.
The leaders also hailed the assurance from the president to clip the rising inflation that has made life more difficult in the country, with the shilling taking a biting by the dollar. President Mwai Kibaki's message that the country will hold a national pre-election and reconciliation conference early next year as a gateway to peaceful election and smooth transition has been hailed as the best way to approach next year's general elections if the ghost of the 2007 post-election violence is to be exorcised.
He's brought a very wise idea of having a national convention which will call for reconciliation and preparation for the next election.
The reason is that we want to have a national covenant where we say, as we go to the elections, this is what we want to behave.
For the second time, Kenya's heroes and heroines have been honored on a day fully dedicated to them. It is also a day where the country's top leadership took the opportunity to assure Kenyans of the government's determination to fight insecurity and the escalating inflation in the country. Reporting for Channel 1 News at 9, I'm Lilian Mwendo at the Nyayo National Stadium.